Tim Ballard is a former federal agent on a mission to end human trafficking around the world. His Operation Underground Railroad has helped to rescue 6,000 survivors and arrest more than 5,000 perpetrators. Jim Caviezel stars in Sound of Freedom, the new movie about Tim Ballard's real life. Ephraim Graham sat down with Ballard for a closer look at the true story behind the movie.
We intentionally go to the darkest corners of the earth where there is no hope and find these kids.
For nearly a decade, Tim Ballard was celebrated as a savior, the man who claimed to travel the world rescuing children from underground trafficking rings. He had the endorsements, the headlines, a movie made in his image, but the persona was manufactured. The truth, colder, quieter, is beginning to surface. Allegations of coercion, missions that never happened, a church pulling away, and a carefully constructed story beginning to unravel. This is the real face of Operation Underground Railroad. Tim Ballard was once a Homeland Security agent. In 2013, he left the government and founded OUR, a nonprofit claiming to rescue children from sex traffickers across the globe. They filmed themselves on covert missions. They staged raids. They uploaded slick footage. To donors, it looked like a war being won one child at a time. Ballard became a myth, part missionary, part action hero. Then came Sound of Freedom, a film based on his story, amplified by far-right platforms, as proof of a shadowy, global conspiracy. The audience wanted a hero. Ballard gave them one.
I was molested and sexually assaulted by Tim in 4 different states, 5 different countries, in the span of 10 months.
Tim Ballard, the founder of Operation Underground Railroad, has now filed defamation lawsuits against 7 women who accuse him of sexual assault.
We know that what's being alleged never happened. We know that. The evidence.
In 2023, the cracks became visible. Multiple women came forward, accusing Ballard of misconduct during so-called missions. He allegedly pressured them to pose as his wife, sometimes demanding physical closeness and rehearsed intimacy, under the pretense of luring traffickers. Some say he used spiritual leverage, invoking divine approval, citing Mormon prophets to justify behavior that blurred every line. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, once quietly supportive, severed ties and issued a public rebuke. The image of the moral crusader began to rot from within. It didn't stop there. Investigations found that many OUR operations were staged. In some cases, the children Ballard claimed to rescue had already been removed from danger by local law enforcement. OUR simply showed up. After the fact, former insiders alleged that footage was manipulated, that victims were used for donor optics, that the stories were cleaned up and repackaged for maximum emotional impact. Money came pouring in. Follow-up care rarely did. Ballard quietly resigned from OUR in 2023, just before the allegations hit the public eye. He floated political ambitions. There was talk of a Senate run, but the momentum stalled under the weight of unanswered questions. State and federal investigations are now active. So far, no criminal charges, but the reputation that carried him to fame is eroding fast. Trafficking victims don't need cameras. They don't need staged rescues or men playing Messiah. They need shelter. They need legal protection. They need truth. When stories are faked for glory or money, the real ones, the brutal, quiet, complicated ones, get drowned out. This isn't just about one man. It's about a system that rewards image over impact. Ask better questions. Follow the silence, because the vulnerable don't get movies. They barely get heard.